Have you ever wondered whether those green beans in the garden are ready to pick? Well, stick around and I'll show you how and when to pick them on this episode of Texas Victory Garden coming up. Howdy, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Texas Victory Garden. My name is Jared. In this episode, we'll be talking about how and when to harvest your green beans. It's most important to harvest them whenever they are young and tender. You don't want to wait until they're old. If they get too old, they're going to be stringy and hard, and they're not going to be really appetizing. So let's go ahead and head to the garden and take a look.
Let's start by looking at the correct time to harvest our green beans. I'm actually demonstrating with yellow wax beans because that is what I had growing in my garden at this time. However, they are in the same family as green beans. The only difference between green beans and wax beans is the color. As you can see, this bean is fairly young and the outline of the bean is fairly smooth. This is the perfect stage to pick them because the skin will be tender and the two strings on either side of the bean will not be fully developed, and therefore when eating them the string should be unnoticeable. Now let's take a look at when not to harvest our green beans. At this stage of growth, the outline of the bean will begin to show large bumps. These bumps are from green bean seed becoming more mature inside of the pod. At this stage, the bean will be stringy and the skin will be tougher. As far as how to harvest the bean, simply take your thumb and index finger and hold the stem just above the bean. Then take your other three fingers and gently wrap them around the bean and pull down on the bean while keeping your thumb and index finger stationary. If I hold this particular variety up to the sun, you can actually kind of see the bean seeds forming inside of the pods. You want to pick your beans before they get to this mature stage. Here's a side-by-side comparison of our beans. On the left is the younger bean that will be tender and virtually stringless. On the right is the more mature bean that will be tougher and stringy. You may have heard or know that there are varieties of green beans that claim to be stringless. While the stringless beans may have a less pronounced string on them, they still have a string. The longer you wait, the more stringy the bean will be, even on so-called stringless green bean varieties. While you may get away with letting the beans mature more with stringless varieties, the fact is most varieties will eventually become somewhat stringy. If we open up our older, more mature bean, we can see that the bean seed inside of the pod is large and mature. Also, the bean is harder to open because of the tougher skin. If the green beans on your plant get to this mature stage, it is best just to leave them on the plant and allow them to fully mature, and collect the seeds to plant in next year's garden. If we open up our younger bean, the bean seed is barely developed and the skin is tender. This makes for a highly edible green bean. Make sure to check your green bean plants at least once a week and harvest any green beans that are in this young stage of development to enjoy at the dinner table.
Until next time, God bless and have a good day.